All right, ready, set, go. Opening bell has rung. Stocks are taking off. Nvidia is up about 5%, bringing the whole market up along with it. You also had some good news on jobs and Walmart as well. James Demmert, founder and chief investment officer, Main Street Research, is joining me now. He is notoriously bullish. In fact, you had a hat that said Dow 100,000, and you gave us that some time ago. Tell me a bit about your thoughts on Nvidia.
You know, I think that people have underestimated Nvidia going into the earnings. I think they've also underestimated the AI cycle, saying it's a bubble, it's about to pop. And those numbers were exceedingly impressive on every metric, and Jensen's guidance was fantastic. So I think that's going to dispel a lot of the concerns that people have had in recent weeks, making the market so choppy about the AI bubble and how long it can last. So very impressive numbers.
So the feeling now is that this, at this moment, gave validation. There's no AI bubble. We're in the sort of early parts of the AI revolution. When does that AI bubble talk come back?
You know, I think, Nicole, investors should, and I've been guiding investors to say, look at some certain metrics. One is when price earnings ratios become significantly higher than growth rates. That's when the AI bubble is going to start to become vulnerable to popping, which is what we're all scared of. And we're nowhere near that. And a good example is Nvidia trading at 29 times earnings, growing in excess of 40% a year. So that's a really simple metric that you can do at home, or certainly we do professionally.
What are these about the 6 reasons of the tech bubble? What are we watching here?
Well, one is valuation, which I just mentioned. So you got to keep an eye on that. That's still attractive. I think market sentiment, when markets get super bullish and people are overexcited, right now we're only mildly bullish, specifically since the consolidation. Cash levels. Investors are not fully invested, which is odd in this very good market. So that tells us there's not a lot of enthusiasm, and also leverage is not as high as you would see, let's say, at the end of the cycle in the 2000s with the tech bubble bursting. And one comment I would make is the circular financing. I know everybody's concerned about that. That's not healthy, but it's just begun to trend up. It's nowhere near where it gets at those periods where we peak out.
You also had off-balance sheet financing, new era narrative, and monetary policy. You want to comment on any of those? Yeah,
there is a narrative that it's an AI bubble and cycle. That goes with these types of enthusiastic periods. But again, the earnings justify the growth rates. And so as long as valuation stays in check, as long as people don't get too bullish and the leverage starts to come in, we think this could go on certainly through 26, 27, maybe even 28. So we've got a long way to go still.
And Goldman Sachs writing, we believe Nvidia has a sustainable model advantage over peers in AI training applications. There's just, Nvidia is something else. It's the behemoth of the AI names and has really shown that to be true here today. Final thoughts on the big picture, because you talk about monetary policy, and the question still is in the air about December and if we get a rate cut. And if we don't get December, do we get next year, in the first half of the year, 2 cuts? I mean, people are waiting on cuts.
Yeah, that's about the only thing left on the headwinds. We've had a choppy market down from the highs, and I think a lot of that was government shutdown. Well, that's gone. We're back on. A lot of people were wondering about the AI bubble. I think Nvidia sort of dispelled the possibility that the AI bubble is about to end. So now we're left with Fed rate cuts. I think if we can get a cut, we go to 7,100 on the S&P by the end of the year. I think if we don't get that cut, I think the market might have a problem with it. So a lot of it, I think, Nicole, is going to come down to this data they're going to start to release about the labor market. I think if the labor market stays weaker, which it's been, the Fed cuts, we get a big Santa Claus rally.
Yeah, oh, there you go. And by the way, I mean, when we talk about Nvidia, when we say it lifts all boats, I mean, other things like CoreWeave were up, 10% in the pre-market, so that's been a winner. I ran Nebius, those AI cloud providers were gaining about 8% in the early going. AMD, another name, up about 5% in the early going. I'll see where they are right now. But it shows that that's the optimism here on Wall Street. Santa Claus rally. Final thoughts on taking anything off the table? I mean, is there any sort of sector investor? Are you going to stay with tech? Are you going to rotate anything? Any sort of end of the year rebalancing?
Yeah, I think investors, I've been trying to guide them to overweight the tech and the AI, the telecom. That's where the earnings growth is. That's what the market likes. But don't forget the financials. We're going through deregulation. That's a very attractive. The energy, electric grid expansion. That's another place like GE Vernova.
Yeah.
And don't forget to get your passport. Invest outside the U.S. Foreign stocks are up twice the U.S. stock returns this year. So there's a lot of great opportunities outside the U.S.
James Demmert, Main Street Research, thank you so much. Great to see you. I really appreciate that you're here. Thank you, James Demmert. All right, coming up.